Welcome to Season 4 of the Get Set podcast, an old girls entertainment production. We are so thrilled to be here and sharing our experiences as women in the TV and film industry. Today on the pod, we have your co-hosts, myself, Monique Schwaneman, and
Jessica Payne, and our fabulous guest today is Geonni SIGL. Geonni is an CEO founder of ONNI Creative, a full-service creative agency serving entertainment clients. She currently serves as the vice president of Women in Exhibition.
Geonni's career as a production designer spans from projects like the Emmy-winning I Think You Should Leave Season 2, Amazon Prime's videos promotion for The Summer I Turned Pretty, and the Together with Affleck and WNBA All-Star Weekend. So welcome to the podcast, Geonni.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we are so excited.
So let's start at the beginning. Where do you call home and how did you get into this industry, like from the get?
Thank you for the intro, by the way. It's always nice to hear things about yourself in writing, you kind of get lost in the sauce. I call home. Oh, this is hard. I not hard, but I'm from Washington, D.C., and that's always near and dear to my heart. But I've lived in Los Angeles for 2026 will be 11 years, which is wild to me. I think I can call myself an Angelino now.
Yes, you can. You can.
Yeah, my educational background, I don't have a marketing degree, but I started in marketing very young, working in events. And if I can back up, in between Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles, I lived in Las Vegas for 4 years. So that's where my marketing career started. And
wow, that is like just in the fire, I would imagine, being in Vegas for marketing.
And people always think I'm crazy. And I'm like, I was young. I was in my 20s. It was great.
Perfect.
It was perfect. I never had plans to stay there long term, but it did great things for my career. So I started in marketing there through trade shows and events. And then I moved to hospitality, working for a private hotel there, doing their marketing and sales. And then from there, moved to a shopping center, a property developer who owned malls around Las Vegas and did their event planning, worked with retailers on executing their marketing campaigns for clothing lines, fashion shows, things like that. Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, all the fun things that happen in like a mall setting. And then moved to Los Angeles. And then from there, I couldn't land a marketing gig. I don't have a traditional educational path, so decided to go back to school. I thought, I'm going to be an interior designer. I'm in LA. I'll design homes for the stars. And then, of course, as soon as I went back to school, I was going to get my interior architecture degree. I went back to school and I landed a job at a film studio, Annapurna Pictures, doing their in-theater marketing, their exhibitor marketing. So theatrical film campaigns. And that's how I kind of built my film marketing side of things. But as I progressed at the studio, I realized, wait a second, I'm still studying interior design because I didn't want to give that up. And coming from DC, you're exposed to politics there, right? That's the whole industry of Washington, DC.
Right.
And then you move here and it's all film and entertainment. And I had no exposure to it whatsoever. So as I'm studying interior design, I'm like, wait a second, I can do art and production design and kind of, the two worlds can collide. And that was kind of my goal. And yeah, the pandemic happened. I was furloughed from, at the time, United Artists Releasing, which is MGM Pictures, now Amazon. And I decided to kind of jump out and start my own thing. And it honestly was the best thing I could ever did. So we're a full service agency that serves entertainment clients through art and production design and film marketing.
That's incredible. Since you said you didn't have any experience coming to LA with the film industry, how did you land that first job?
Oh my God. Networking. My resume was passed to my boss at the time and, kind of got that foot in the door. Marketing is marketing. And I guess I didn't realize that at the time, again, being so young, working with a lot of the tenants at the mall when I was in Las Vegas and helping them with their individual campaigns ended up being very similar to theatrical marketing, where you work with as a studio, you work with a lot of the cinemas to help execute the studio's campaign at the theater level. And it can vary depending on the market, obviously the demographic of the movie and whatever markets the cinema's in. So I had a lot of skills that could apply to that, because I know when I landed it, people were like, how did you get this job? Who do you know? Type of thing. And I was like, I don't know anyone. I was able to have my resume passed along, and it was a good fit.
Well,
it
I
was
think
me.
yeah, it is you. And I think also you, based on your resume, you had established yourself as someone who could work with really big brands. We worked at hotels, malls, the individual stores within the malls, those campaigns for them. And so putting you in a room with executives was probably not a worry, because you knew how to talk to people of that level.
Yes. And if I didn't, I was faking it, just
Right.
taking a deep breath, right? Fake it so you make it. Because there was a long time. And even today, I pinch myself sometimes just thinking, oh my goodness, this industry is so fun and exciting. And it's been great.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I think that's so interesting too, in terms of, like you were saying, how it just like correlated in terms of like the mall and like all the different brands and their individual things. Because it really is like you have, if you're working with Sony, they have their individual brand, and yet beyond that, they have, what the film is, and then working, like you said, working with the theaters themselves. It just
a lot
makes
of different umbrellas, like an
right.
umbrella that covers
It is.
different categories.
And if you get a really big film that has a ton of partners, like you think about Wicked right now, that's
Right.
coming out, or the Barbie movie, right? Had
Yeah.
so many different partners. Every store you're in, it had some sort of Barbie. Every ad you were watching on television somehow tied back to that. So it really helped and gave me a lot of experience in working with these consumer products that may be tied to the film.
Yeah. And are you helping with that as like a marketer?
We are working on Wicked. We helped the studio produce, when you go to theater and there's film branded concession vessels, so cups, tubs, things like that. So we worked with Universal Pictures on putting out some Wicked cups that are in theaters now. Yeah. Wicked cups and buckets.
Yeah. Nice.
That's massive.
Cool.
That's a massive contract.
Thank you. Love Universal. They're a great client of ours. And we worked on the first one, we worked on this one and some of their other titles. And they're just great folks over there. And the partnership is really, really great. And we enjoy working with one another. So
amazing. Yeah. So let's talk about ONNI and how your company and how it like got started. Where'd you come up with the name? Like all of that.
Sure. ONNI Creative. This is funny. It's my grandparents call me Oni-san.
Oh.
At the time, my grandfather, or at some point, he was traveling to Japan a lot for work. So, and in Japan, they put san on the end of names. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Mm-hmm.
I should know more of the history there, but he calls me Oni-san. And so Oni for short. And when I started the company, I've always been close to my family. My mom's one of 8. We have a huge family, and that name's always kind of stuck with me. So ONNI Creative is kind of the road I went down for the name. As I mentioned, I was furloughed back in 2020 when the pandemic happened, and I think I was already kind of hitting a ceiling at the studio and thinking, what's my next move going to be? My former boss is still currently in that position. So growth and moving upward, I don't know what that would have really looked like had I stuck around. And the work varies campaign to campaign when you're working in theatrical marketing, but it really is the same type of, you're going through the same process every time. So it was starting to kind of feel a little bit stale in ways. I started an LLC. I had finished getting my interior architecture degree with a focus in art direction for film and television. So I decided streaming was kind of popping at that time, right? Because everyone was at home. And so this production streaming was really going strong. And so I just took on set dresser, PA type roles on set, and I think because I had the experience, I was a seasoned professional in other ways, and I was coming in as a PA or a set dresser, these kind of, I don't want to say lower level, that doesn't feel fair, but I was in kind of these more junior roles on set. I was able to move up really quickly because I had this other experience. So it was just getting a lot of referrals, word of mouth, and kind of work my way up into art director, production designer, and it kind of took off. So furloughed, right? Everyone's furloughed or, out of work, whatever. And I was just kind of taking these jobs on the side. And then, of course, the theaters reopened, or we were called back to work. The theaters hadn't been reopened yet, but we were called back to work. And at the time, we were all kind of tweedling our thumbs, like, we're here, but there's really nothing to do. The theaters aren't open. And then from there, I kept taking on these other jobs on the side. And then it got to the point where theaters reopened and I kind of had no choice but to choose between my corporate job and starting my own thing. So we're heading towards 6 years. So I can't believe it's been almost 6 years. And it was honestly the best decision of my life.
So you were doing marketing with your
studio.
Studio.
Yep.
And for how long were you in that? You were there for how long?
I was there like 4 or 5 years. I think I started in 2016, 2017.
And then at some point you started getting your
I was already getting my degree. Yep. So I was doing both at the same time.
Okay.
And then, I had already started. Of course, when you I'm going to go to school, and then I started school and I got the dream job. So it was like, I'm going to do both. It was something I wanted to do for myself.
That's great that they worked with you, that you could do both.
They did. I mean, I did a lot after work hours, went straight to class or did stuff online, and it was exhausting. And I look back now, like I could never do that again, but I'm glad I did. And then once I was finished right around the time the pandemic kind of started to ramp up. And again, I was like, I'm going to go jump in and do a full-time art and production agency. That's what I want to do. And maybe I can start that, and I'll just start from set dresser, PA type gigs. And again, the streaming had been really picking up. So I got all these jobs. So, okay. So I left this part out. So the theaters reopen. And then I have this business, right, while I'm still holding down my corporate job. And I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to start a full service art and production? Like I've been doing this for, a year at this point, or, not that much time. I'm going to have to supplement the income. So maybe what I can do as the theaters start to reopen. So ONNI Creative has a focus on independent cinema, mid-sized cinema. A lot of the larger top grossing chains like AMC, Regal, Cinemark, we work with them, but they aren't our kind of main focus. They have their own marketing departments, right? So they don't really need marketing help from ONNI Creative. So we really focus on the smaller theaters. So at the time when I realized, okay, I can't have this business overnight, I'm going to need to supplement the income, I decided, okay, why don't we go after the independent theaters who are just reopening? The world's changed, technology's changed. They naturally are kind of old school. Like they're the types that are still on Facebook, no TikTok. They're barely on Instagram, right? Like these independent theaters are very kind of slow to adapt to things. So I thought, they're really going to be behind now that the pandemic has happened. So why don't I start doing some marketing consulting for theaters? So I never set out to create a full service agency. It just kind of morphed into that, where we have the art and production side, and then we have the marketing side that serves the cinemas. And then I was able to leverage studio clients that, I had, and some of my now team members have, and we're really B2B2C in that we work business to business, ONNI to studio to the theater. They're also our clients, and then ultimately the moviegoers or whoever's watching the content that we create. So it's been fun, and it's been a lot about networking and keeping your contacts.
How was the logistical process of starting your own company? Because we're new to it, and I feel like with a lot of creatives, that is terrifying. That it's like, oh my gosh, I have to now file taxes as another entity, and I have to have a business license. Maybe do I? What do I?
It's crazy.
Did you just go to YouTube school or for all of this stuff?
It's crazy. I'm pretty sure I use LegalZoom for my LLC.
Got it. Yeah.
And yeah, you just kind of figure it out. I don't know. We as women just figure it out, right? But there are still things that pop up now where I'm like, I didn't know that. What the heck? And, I got to then kind of restructure the process or whatever it is. But It's a lot. It's way more, like you said, as a creative, you're like, oh, I'm just going to have fun and do my creative projects. But it's like, no, it's people management, it's finances. I mean, until I pulled someone on to help with accounting and stuff, it was just like me doing it, sending the invoices, just doing
I know that's
whatever it
us. I
takes.
cannot wait for that moment.
It is. It's worth the money. It's hard to like make that jump, but it is totally worth it. And I'm still kind of in it because I still have to approve stuff or, know what's coming in and going out. But it's definitely helpful, especially if you have a lot of high volume. We have a lot of invoices going in and out from theaters, studios, and things like that. So it's stressful. It's a lot. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
And you have a staff of what, like 10 now? Including
We're
you?
up to 10, including myself. Some more hours than others. I'll just keep it at that. I wish I could, have them all on 40 hours a week. I think 1 to 5 years is very different, I'm learning, than 5 to, let's just say, 10. Scaling, again, people operations, it's completely different. Like it's almost like a light bulb has switched in this year where it's about business development. It's just, I think you're just trying to figure it all out year 1 to 5. Like you said, you're trying to figure out where the taxes go. Do I need a license? All of these things. And now it's just completely different. So my goal is definitely full-time, 40-hour employees, but we're not there yet. And I don't want to rush because I think that would be foolish of me to staff up too quickly.
And everyone has their own skill set. So like you said, their jobs and their hours fit the skill set that they have and that they bring to the table.
Yeah. And we've just post-pandemic, it works for people to have these flexible, jobs and be able to do things that they want, passion projects. Some people want to write on the side or do whatever it is that they do. And it's just exciting to be able to provide that for.
It's nice for people to be able to grow within a company and like, even if that means, having a multi-hyphenate like area or like a position in that company, at least they're getting the experience,
Definitely. It's not for everyone. I mean, I think the corporate world, 9 to 5, very siloed work can be appealing to some. But if you're somebody who's a little bit more scrappy, likes to be creative and get your hands in on a lot of different things, maybe even likes business like operations, it's fun working for a small business or startup. You get to kind of see it grow and you grow with them. So I love that for my teammates.
Yeah. What would you say that your like the mission of your company? What do you think is like, what sets you apart from everyone else?
Yeah. One of the first things when I came into this industry is it was like the peak or just about to hit, right? Me too. So for me, it was like, whoa, I'm in Hollywood. This is crazy. This is real. What's going on? But you see, and especially for me as a not only a person of color, but a woman of color, you just see the differences and the challenges that women face with rising up in either the company or the industry, whatever it may be. So I think when I left to start my company, it was really like, I want to make a place for women and diverse people that are looking to get into this industry and really have no idea how to get in and don't have the resources. Like that was really important for me. And then, independent cinema, the theater landscape has changed so much. We're competing with people's couches, and to see over the years of working at the studio, I got to know a lot of theater owners and operators and small businesses and in the middle of the country or wherever they are. And there was just something about the relationships. So I really wanted to help them and really wanted to make sure, small businesses are out there thriving. So just keeping that in mind, small businesses. And then of course, like women and diversity and entertainment is just so important to me. There's not enough. We've made strides, but there's still just not enough.
We've made
strides. And this whole year we went backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Statistically.
Gosh, it's so frustrating. But at least we're still out here
2025.
trying to make it work. So
Yes.
We're still out here trying to do our thing. But what's your plan in navigating this competing with the couches situation? Like, I feel like that's so rough. And like, especially too, I personally feel like there's sort of this, like, either companies aren't spending the money that I feel like maybe they need to be spending on marketing, and this is from an outsider who knows nothing really, or then they're like putting, films into theaters for 2 weeks and
And they're
trying to
gone.
rely on like word of mouth, and word of mouth, it's not there long enough to actually get it. Because I feel like I've seen movies where I know about them after they're out of theaters. Like, there's no chance for me to actually, and I hadn't heard of them prior to.
Yeah. No one has the money that they used to have, right? In
Yeah.
budgets. Everybody wants so much more for way less money,
Mm.
right? So that's definitely something we deal with on a regular basis. I think to kind of go back to how do we compete with the couch, right? I don't know when the last time you've been in the movies, but it's so it's irreplaceable to sit in a theater with people and really
100%.
share that experience with them and laugh with them and hear them just goofing off or whatever at certain parts or actors that are on the screen. And there's nothing that can replace that. So movie theaters won't go away. It's changed so much. You're right. We are seeing movies for 2 weeks, and the movies that are in the theaters for a long time and are successful are these big tentpole films that, are in there for weeks and weeks and weeks. I will say marketing dollars aren't being spent in the theaters like they used to be. Those big cardboard cutouts, the standees
Yeah.
when you go to the theaters, like a lot of the independent small businesses, they don't get those anymore. Even some of the larger chains aren't getting as many as they used to. So the same marketing materials, that print marketing budget has really been moved to digital. And then, I think also going back to that kind of communal space in the community, right? Like, we need these spaces to help with our communities, to help bring people together. I think you realize, like, we live in LA, we live in a bubble, right? It's not the same as a small town who everybody's going to the movies every weekend and things like that. It's just these theaters are really kind of the glues to their community and really help boost the economy for their community. And so, it's really important that we support these small businesses. And then one other thing I wanted to say is, you're saying, oh, I didn't even know this movie was coming out, right? Is because a lot of times the theaters, especially the small independents, they don't know what film they might be getting until a week or two before the theater.
Oy.
Yeah, the studios aren't booking it with them, so they don't even know. So they can't come to ONNI Creative and say, hey, give me that popcorn bucket. And because the popcorn buckets, that type of stuff is really meant for pre-promotion and maybe opening weekend. It's not meant for, after opening weekend. It's meant to help promote the film. But a lot of these theaters' hands are tied because they don't know if they're getting booked with the film yet, so they can't spend money to purchase something. So they're having to really rely on their own marketing. And if you remember back earlier in the conversation where I said they're very old school, they don't have that, they're not marketers. They try, but they really don't have the foresight to really get these campaigns off the ground without knowing that they're going to have the film. So there's a little bit of push and pull. There's a lot of bit of push and pull between the theaters and the studios, where it's like, how am I going to market the film if I don't know I'm getting the film? And also, if you're not spending money to help market it in my area, it's really messy.
Yeah, well, and I also understand there's a certain amount of challenge too, whereas before, with the studios in general, you would show your trailer in front of a movie, and then you would put, that trailer on commercial. You'd maybe have like a print in a magazine and a print in, if you're lucky, in a newspaper or whatever. But beyond that, that was like kind of the scale, right? Essentially. And then maybe billboards here and there. But now it's like, it's social media and all the different kinds of social media with Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Each one has its own little format and like, thing. And then whatever else, there's like,
and then you're also competing with the algorithm.
Right.
So if it hasn't if it hasn't heard you say Wicked, it might not show you Wicked stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, maybe it's not necessarily that they're not spending the dollars anymore, but like the amount of like reach it's trying to get to is,
our attention span is obviously really short now, but it's also really like fragmented, right? It's just, there's so many different ways that we're being targeted, and it's also easy to just kind of glaze over stuff. Like studies show you have to see things multiple times,
like 7
before
times
you
or 10 times or something like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
an
that
insane
number,
amount.
has gone up, over the past several years. So
And it's a little
yeah,
different too when you can just swipe through an ad and be like, okay, whatever, swipe. I've seen this, I know it, whatever. Versus
yep.
like whenever it was television, you'd have to sit there and watch your commercials. Like,
You couldn't
Oh
skip
yeah.
through it.
I mean, you
I
could
was
go and like
watching
use the restroom, but
Yeah, I was watching something the other day on some free streamer, whatever. That was wherever it was only available. It was Greece, actually. I really wanted to
Woo!
watch Greece, and
Amazing.
it was available for free on some like whatever free streaming where you have ads. So I'm like, that's fine. It paused and it was like, do you want to have a 30-second interactive ad where you have to engage, or do you want to have your 3-minute advertising like block? And it made me choose
Whoa.
every time it came to commercial break. It made me choose
so what did you
which.
choose?
I chose the 3 minutes. I'm like, you're not going to make me force me to
Yeah.
engage.
Yeah. I would have
And
been mad.
I was so mad. And I was mad because I had to click it every time. And then also, you're saying, oh, it pitched it as, it spun it as like, get back to your content in just 30 seconds. But I'm like, not really, because you're really, really taking me out of it, making me focus on whatever ad it is. Then you're probably going to ask me, did you see this in the ad or something? And to me, that's
Take
not
this
like
5-minute survey now.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I thought that was very interesting. It was
Okay,
annoying.
so yeah,
Pay
really
the
quick
pay the $3.99 next time for the uninterrupted.
So really quick for all our listeners, since the phones are always listening, you just hold up and go independent theaters, Old Girls Entertainment, ONNI Creative, and just say that maybe every day to your algorithm, and then you'll have the perfect algorithm.
There you go.
But I think, I really want to go back to, you said such an important idea that I totally forgot about as a consumer and as a customer. Because when we think about going to the movies, we think like, oh, these big corporations are making a ton of money, especially in LA, because you go everywhere and it's AMC or whatever.
Yep.
But like you said, like, I've gone to smaller cities like Big Bear or something that's local to LA that we've traveled to. And it's so cute. And it is the center of the
So
town.
cute.
And these are independent owners that this is their livelihood. And so I think as consumers, when we see these big movies with these famous people that are getting paid a shit ton of money, it's like, okay, well, why am I going to give my almost $20 now to go see this film? But hey, just like we search for local bookstores, like let's search for local theaters then. That's the workaround. Because they're going to be there.
Yeah. I want to add something, Jessica, to what you said about, I see a movie for 2 weeks and then it's gone. Say it's a theater and they only have 1 or 2 screens and they're competing against a big title, right?
Yeah.
Like a Wicked or a Disney title or something. There are terms, and a lot of people don't realize this, that the theater has to adhere to if they want to play the film. So if they want to be given the rental of the film from the studio, they have to adhere to terms. And a lot of times those terms may be from a larger studio who says, you have to hold our movie in your theater for a month. And you can't, and if you only have 1 or 2 screens, right? And you're in a small town, and you're forced to play it for a month. If you want that film, that big film, right, you have to play it for a month. Well, after the first or second weekend, everyone in the town's already going to have seen the film. So nobody's going to be there the last couple of weeks. And so they're not able to put another film on there. And so these, again, big companies kind of have a chokehold on some of these small businesses where it's like,
That's
I
crazy.
have to choose. And if I choose to not go with the big film, I'm going to lose money that way because they're going to go to the next town over to go see it at whatever theater. So it's kind of sad sometimes working in this business.
Yeah, that's frustrating. That's
But you're doing the work to help them, and you're doing the work to make sure that people come. And you're making it an experience, an experience for them, like a richer experience. And I will tell anyone who's listening, because I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so this year was the first time that I actually like went back to the movie theater. It sucks because I know like I'm an actor, but like I can't, it's just really ridiculously difficult. And I've been that person being like, why is there a crying baby back here? It's a 9 p.m. showing, go home. But so like, I was like, I can't be that person. But I recently did, take my son, and I was just like breastfeeding my infant the whole time just to knock her out. But we saw like a kid's movie, and it is an experience. Like going back to the theater, I forgot how magical it is, and how, like you said, how fun it is to sit next to someone. And I was just experiencing this for the first time together. And I was just talking about Wicked with one of my best friends yesterday, because she had this idea in her head. She's just like, I'm going to see Wicked by myself. It's like a religious experience. No one bother me. And then she was going on a date, and her date was like, well, I'll see it with you. I promise I won't bother you. I won't talk through it. Like, I'm not like, I just want to like be there with you. And she's like, fine. Okay. And she went on this date with this person. Luckily it went well, but it's that it is better when people are respectful, obviously, to experience this. Like, it's human nature with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think all of us, like, film lovers, which I'm sure if anyone who's listening to this is a film lover, like, I've had, like, you all know, like, back in the day when you would, like, go with friends, which I definitely should do this more often, but go with friends and go, like, see a movie and then have dinner afterwards, and then half the conversation afterwards was, that movie was great, or it was bad, or it was whatever, you know what I mean? You had that, like, communal, like,
the
discussion.
discussion.
Yeah, it was like, oh, so amazing. Okay, side story. I remember when Remember Me came out, and me and my friends, do you guys remember Me?
Yeah, is that the one with Mandy Moore?
No, it's the one with Rob Pattinson.
Never mind.
No, Rob Pattinson. And we were all so stunned that, like, we went to Red Robin after, because that was like our hometown place. And half of the meal was us, like, being like, I can't believe that was about to we're so blown away.
It left an impression on you.
It did, and part of that impression was, like, trying to make words come out, like, afterwards, and just being so shocked, like, with your, with the friends.
And you can't beat that experience.
No,
with,
you can't.
Rotten Tomatoes or going write a review. It's just not the same.
Or even just in your home. Like, I mean, I love going to the theaters too, because, like, I don't necessarily have a lot of distractions here at my house. Like, I live alone, but I have my phone that I'm on half the time, or I have whatever else, that comes around. And so, I mean, it literally forces you to sit down and be with other people. Even if you do go by yourself, you're in a room with other people, and
I know, phone away. It's one of the few places where
you're hearing them laugh or cry or whatever it is, and you're just in this communal space, and it's lovely.
I love it. I saw an article recently that, I don't know what the term is, but they talked about how TV films or TV shows are so predictable now, and how you really can just guess the plot line and you really know what's going on. And they talk about writers having to kind of dumb down their work because they know in their minds that people are sitting on their couch watching their phone. So they can't make the plot lines and everything too complex, because then people won't understand it.
This is what I heard about Kim Kardashian's new show. I listened to a podcast, and I forget what it's called, but her new show, and they play a piece of the dialogue, and you're like, what is happening? And she's like, but they know, they're smart. Like, I am scrolling on my phone the whole time, and like a soap opera, you could pick up your eyes and be like, oh, I know exactly where we left off. And then you just, and you go back to it.
Like, I heard Netflix or some streamer was saying that, like, their push to their writers was that whatever was happening on screen was also verbally said, so people can have it on in the background and hear what's going on, and less like the cinematic, like, beautiful whatever shot. Another thing, so I'm rewatching Succession right now, which is kind of insane with, like, the political climate of everything. But it's really interesting, like, anyways. But one of the things, I just finished the season 3 finale, and you just wouldn't, like, it's all about, like, people undercutting each other, whatever, and, like, betraying each other. And there was just, like, this moment where one of the characters betrays the other character, and you wouldn't know it if you're not watching it, because it's literally just a look. And then it's like, and
you don't get that if you're in your phones, people.
Exactly.
And that was, like, so,
and I was gonna say, what year was that?
Yeah, I mean, before the pandemic, I think, is whenever they were doing that. Yeah. So and that, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like a look and tell so much, like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
Ugh, I
Yeah.
can't do it with these. I'm sorry, that was a tangent.
It's
What
an interesting
about
conversation.
right. How are you like meshing, your production design with the marketing? And how do you feel like getting in with like production helps with the end goal of marketing with
Yeah.
a film or TV?
Blending the two. It especially in the beginning was very hard from a branding standpoint to really articulate who we are and what we do. And I think even to this day we kind of struggle sometimes because they're very different sets of clients or customers, right? There's media companies that might need art and production, don't have it in-house, that hire us. And then there's the studios, the departments we're working with are marketing. So they're not really a part of the art and production. So I think the two, I actually don't think they communicate enough to one another. Interestingly enough, I think that it would help if these departments kind of talk to each other, or, it's very, okay, production's done, here's the package, like filmmakers, that you have your key stakeholders, and then, but it's like, go market, and you don't really talk enough, I feel like. But the way I'm meshing the two, which has been really fun, we've started doing custom cocktail campaigns. So again, talking about experience and the movies and getting people off their couch, we really work to do bar campaigns or activations that get moviegoers excited. So maybe there's a themed cocktail tied to a horror film or whatever it may be. We'll work with the studio to come up with a custom cocktail. A lot of times we will keep it generic because we want the theaters to be able to create this cocktail at scale. So we might just say rum, right? Instead of a specific brand or whatever, just so that way we know these theaters have the ingredients, things like that. So we'll help curate a cocktail, and then we'll source props and decor for content shoot. So we'll capture still in motion photography with the, making the drink, and do some glam shots, things like that of the cocktail. And then from there, we'll take the motion and static imagery and create assets. So those assets are used for digital menu boards, digital displays throughout the lobbies. At times it could be on screen, and then social media, obviously email, web banners, things like that. So that's really fun because it kind of mixes our art and production, and we create this kind of mood and landscape for this particular cocktail or product, whatever it may be. And then from there, it's cut into, different promotional assets and pushed out to the theaters, and they use it to promote the film and the cocktail. So that's one way that we're kind of blending the two.
Since it's part of your mission, so much a part of who you are in your company, how do you advocate for women and BIPOC people in this space?
We have a very robust intern program, which has been great for as a small business, by the way. I highly recommend.
That's great. That was one of my questions because we met you through, well, she's your executive assistant, but MJ, shout out MJ Smith, who connected us through a networking event.
Yeah, so interns, we hire probably around 6 per semester.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And
that's a lot to manage.
Let me tell you, it's gotten better. After we've now done it 3 years, probably going into 4, it's been awesome. You just put processes and systems in place and tutorials, and I'm a big like video recordings of how to do things, and we have regular meetings with them, and we check in, but it's really exciting. So we do about, I'd say 4 to 6 per semester, whether it's graphic design or marketing. But I love pulling interns in. It actually is really fun, and it can be a lot of work, but it's really fun to see their eyes like see them really wide-eyed about the industry. And I think some of the things that they kind of take away is like, I never considered working on the agency side, and oh wow, agencies really do a lot of work. Like, it's not all coming from the studio, right? Like, and there are multiple agencies. It's not just one, right? There are tons that are working to put out the film. It really takes a village to get a film from start to finish. So I really love having them open their eyes to the different sides of not only marketing, but entertainment. It's really fun. So, and just really try to hire diversely. The interns are amazing, and there are some amazing schools here in Southern California, but I really try to hire from, it doesn't have to be the best of the best school. If the person looks like a good fit and they're from a city or community college, that's absolutely fine too. I really believe in hiring, diversely in that way where, it's not always the degree. And, without saying names, some of the people with the best degrees have not been the strongest interns. So it really is important to just hire people from different walks of life who have different experiences. And I think it just helps us. It helps us with our work. And when we're doing proposals and we can ask, is anybody being targeted for this film? What did you think? Are you seeing ads? And it just gives us a lot of different perspectives. So I love doing that. And I want to give people a foot in the door.
If people are wanting to intern with you, how can they contact you or find that?
We do all of our applications through LinkedIn. So follow our LinkedIn page. You can always shoot us an email, hello@onnicreative.xyz. And oftentimes we have to reply saying we're not hiring at the moment, but we'll keep your resume on file. And we do keep them on file and we look back at them. So that's another way you can shoot us your info.
I like how much that you have put into this internship program. I assist with my high school, the TV production class, and we do like an internship program for seniors second semester.
Fun.
And some internship programs are stronger than others because some is just, there's so much thought to it. And some is just like, yeah, show up today and you can help me shred paper. And it's like, that doesn't help them learn anything, So I really appreciate, how much time and thought that you've put into that, even so early on. I mean, your company is already established. You've done amazing work, but really most people in your circumstance do not have an internship program that robust. And that's really something to be proud of.
I appreciate it. It's really important. I think if we want to get diverse, not only stories out there, but also work with diverse. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you've worked on sets where it's diverse or even a lot of women, right? A majority of women, and
they're way better when it's all women. They're way better.
Thank you. I was like, do I directly say this? But it's true. It just flows better. There's no drama. There's no egos. Like shit gets done. And it's just, it's so much better. It's so much better.
So much better. No. And it's funny because one of the first sets that I had outside of college, I mean, I just used a lot of like my friends from college and everything. And one of the actors came up to me and he was like, it's so nice that there's like, it's basically mostly all women except for like a handful. And I hadn't even noticed it, like, because I'm like, well, these are just like my friends who are coming to help. And like, of course, like, and then it wasn't until I got into the industry where I've been the only woman on set where there's 100 people on set. And I'm like, I am the only woman. This is insane.
Yep.
Other than maybe the actor or something, or a hair person or something.
That's rough.
And you're like, oh, that's how it feels. And like how, like, I don't know how different those sets are because they really are different.
It makes a difference. Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for, women and BIPOC individuals getting into the entertainment industry, whether it be about, staying true to themselves, like mental health or work ethic, like whatever, if there's any advice specifically since you've been through it?
Mental health. Oh my goodness. Such a topic in the last.
Or even just advocating for themselves in a room. Like how do you walk in with confidence being the only person of color in the room or being the only woman person of color in the room?
Oh my goodness. The number of times, and I read this somewhere, it's not mine, but the number of times I have had to tell myself, because, I'm pinching myself under the table or I'm afraid to speak or give input, but I've had to really remind myself, like, you're in this room because you made it to this room just like everyone else. So you have to kind of have that confidence within you. And again, like I said at the beginning, like you just have to also fake it sometimes. And, I think staying true to yourself is how you're going to be the most confident. If you're trying to be someone else or trying to fit in, it's just not going to work. And people can smell inauthenticity a mile away. So that would be one thing. Mental health, burnout. I mean, it's so important. I'm totally guilty of, as a business owner, overworking and working late and things like that. You just really have to kind of give your time. I know for me, this is not as much on the production side, but on like the marketing side of things, like kind of more my like office type work is I have a day once a week where nobody can have meetings. Like the team, we don't have meetings because it can just be a lot to be on these Zooms all the time. And it just allows for more focused work. So that has been really helpful. And then networking. I think we talked about networking a little bit earlier, but I think telling someone coming into this industry, just you have to network your ass off, and it is such hard work. And I think the more experience you get, the more daunting it sometimes feels, but it really is important. And I find that people actually really do want to, the good ones really do want to help each other, and especially women. I am in Women in Exhibition, as we mentioned. I'm on the board there, and that's an organization that helps women that are within theatrical, within cinemas. And that's really great. And then I'm a part of some other executive networks where it's really great to just be around women who are aligned with their goals and just their ambition, and really look to lean on one another. So I think networking is really great. We talked about MJ earlier and how we met, just not being shy and coming up to people and just introducing yourself and asking them about themselves. Usually people want to talk about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and just to, I know we kind of chatted offline a little bit about the story, but just to give the viewers the story, we went to a moonshot networking event, and we met MJ, and then that same night you met MJ.
Oh, it was the same night?
Was it the same night?
Did you get a poker chip?
Yes. She came
in the same room with you?
Yeah,
so
I know. That's
funny.
what I'm saying. Like, but she came up to us, and she came up to you, and I mean, separately, we didn't meet, but yeah, she came in and was like, what did she said something like, take a bet on me or something, and handed a poker chip with a QR code on it that went to her socials or something.
What 20-something's doing that?
I know, like a physical
No one.
thing. I was like, aren't you all analog? Like what? Or like not analog? It's so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And she was doing this by herself. Like Jessica and I go as networking buddies.
Yeah.
She wasn't MJ there. Was by herself, just confident, just graduated Chapman, and I was like, and we brought her on to be a PA for this last project that we worked on, and she was great all day on set.
She's so good. She gets it.
Yeah,
she really does.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just going out there and going after what you want, and not letting fears or anybody else kind of tell you otherwise. Just keep your eye on the prize is what I'd say. And yeah, MJ came up, and so then after the poker chip, I was like, I'm gonna reach out and let her know, hey, I might need some help with some work. Send over your resume. She took her resume and branded it with our ONNI brand colors, and so it took time to do that. So that was another way she stood out to me. So yeah, I know. So
I need to take tips from MJ.
Yeah.
I think sometimes these younger generations don't always get the best rap, but I think there are some that are really hardworking and want to get out there and put themselves out there. And
I'm sure MJ was nervous that night, but she just had like a can-do attitude and was like, came in with a plan, a poker chip, had her little slogan that she was saying, and
it worked.
It's hard to pass that up. Yeah.
Look, she got work from both of us.
That's so funny. Yeah. That's so funny.
I wasn't doing that at 20-something.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. I was doing non-union auditions, hoping that someone would call me, and not knowing. I don't even know how people find out about networking events. Like now, having, spoken with, having had years, like I've been like a SAG member for almost a decade. So like I have people that I can talk to. I have podcasts that I've listened to that I'm like, oh, and I'm pulling these resources along the way. But I mean, that's a decade, and I'm in the same room as someone who just graduated university, already hitting the ground running.
I know.
Like I don't even, a lot of it maybe is social media, because Instagram was like brand spanking new when I graduated.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's incredible, the drive. Can you tell us a little bit more about Women in Exhibition and how people can get involved or follow?
Yeah. So Women in Exhibition started during the pandemic, and the founder just kind of put together some virtual kind of happy hour type things. And it was for women that worked in exhibition. So cinema exhibition. And again, the entertainment industry just not being easy for women, especially in theatrical exhibition. It's, again, very, very old school, and they're miles and miles behind the rest. It was just built off of women that wanted to kind of lift each other up, panel parity, scholarship programs. A lot of times there are a lot of industry trade shows like CinemaCon, if you've ever heard of CinemaCon. A lot of the kind of mid or more junior employees, especially the women, like don't go to these events, or at least at one point didn't. And it's really not fair. These events are really great to help. I love bringing my team to these events because they really get the full picture of how theatrical marketing works, how the entertainment industry, some of us have entertainment experience and even theatrical entertainment experience, but a lot of people don't. And it really helps paint the picture. So the fact that these bigger companies, like when I was at the studio, I went, but there were some people on our team that didn't get to go. And I know they were a little salty about that. So Women in Exhibition offer scholarship programs for that reason, where if people haven't come, all they have to do is apply. If you're a member, membership is, I think, 25, no more than $50. I should know this as the vice president. But it's very cheap per year.
That's great.
And yeah.
Because
And
other ones are like 100 plus. And so this is really
Yes.
more doable. That's great.
Yes, exactly. And so yeah, there's panel parity. We'll advocate for women to be on different industry panels. A lot of the trade shows I go to, it's the same old 5 people, patting each other on the back, right? Same old. It's like, so let's get some fresh blood in here. Again, these different perspectives. They have a mentorship program, which is great, a year-long mentorship program where they partner people from throughout the industry. So womeninexhibition.com, and they're on social media and things like that. So you can find them easily. Thank you.
Thank you. We want to close it out and ask, do you have like an ultimate goal or just like a near future? It could be a soon goal. It could be a goal, like a 5-year plan, but what are your goals individually and then for your company, moving forward in your career?
I'll start individually because Monique, you said that you have a couple of toddlers. I have a 2-year-old, and I can totally identify with not going to the movies because you suddenly have a child and you don't want to be that person. So she hasn't been to the movies yet, but I look forward to taking her. I was kind of thinking there's a live action Moana coming out in July. I was thinking that, although that feels a little long to wait, but I don't know. So take care of my 2-year-old. I have one on the way. I'm due in April. So I know.
It's a perfect age gap. That is the perfect age gap.
You.
I mean, that's what I have.
I've heard that. Okay.
And let me just say, April birthdays are the best birthdays.
Are you an April baby? I do like April babies.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So as far as goals go, just surviving and keeping these children alive for the foreseeable future. And then business wise, art and production. Okay, so as you know, the way art and production, I have art and production marketing, experiential, right? Everybody wants a pop-up. Everyone wants a photo for social media. Everyone's going to these little activations. I'm really looking to do more of those with the studios. So whether that's like a premiere party or, there's these little pop-ups at, Century City or wherever they may be that are themed to a film, we're really looking to do more of those. So kind of stepping outside of the cinema with some of these experiences. And then I have my eye on FIFA next year and the Olympics in 2028, and doing some fun activations, some entertainment, marketing type activations around those events.
Did you hear that they're going to start opening Cinerama again? They're like starting to make that.
I've kind of seen some buzzy rumors. Yes.
We just had a conversation. We went to like a little networking coffee with someone, and she was like talking about like how Cinerama was like not open for years. And then all of a sudden, again, the algorithm started feeding me Cinerama stuff. And then they just said that they're like opening again. So that should also be on your bucket list. Just saying, maybe.
Yes. I mean, the ArcLight and the Cinerama Dome and all of that is just, that was like a big, I feel like, hit to the theatrical community, especially here in LA. That was big. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, I think there's some exciting things. Super Bowl's coming next year, and then again, I think the following year here in Southern California. So yeah, I have my eye on some projects outside of the theaters. I think I think it's a wise business decision for us to kind
Yeah,
of diversify a bit.
absolutely.
Really
Amazing.
quick, really quick about the kid thing. So I took my son, and when I had my daughter too, the first movie that he saw, it was for a birthday party
Mhm.
because it was actually, and it was it's a local theater. It's in the Encino Commons if anyone is a Valley person, but they rented out a theater, and you'd think like, wow, that sounds like a lot of money, but it was like locally owned. And because when you think about like, if you're doing a jumper at home, that's like $200 to $300. If you're doing food, that's over $100. To
Mhm.
rent out this theater, they provided popcorn and drinks for everyone, and it was like less than $500, I think. Don't quote me, but basically, it would have been less to do it there than to do something at home. So they went with that, and it was awesome. So if anyone needs like a birthday
I
party
love it.
idea,
The group sales, contact the group sales department at theaters.
yes. Yeah,
Yes.
because all the kids are corralled in one area. Who
They can
cares
run
if they're
around.
running around?
Yep.
Yeah, who
Totally.
cares if a sibling is crying in the back? Like you can bring your own cupcakes and eat cupcakes at 10 a.m. like we did. Like it
I
was
love
fun.
it.
It was
Good.
super fun.
Thanks. You're giving me ideas for my daughter because it's expensive to throw birthday parties.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild.
It's
Just like
great.
food now alone.
Yeah, even we just had a basic birthday. Her second birthday was in September at the park with pizza and like some decorations
So
and stuff.
see,
And it was
September
still very.
for me is the best month.
Oh, I have the best months for my babies.
Yes, you do. You do.
Too funny. There are theaters now that will do kind of these child-friendly screenings. They're usually early morning on weekends, but they'll do like an intermission in the middle. It's a little bit more acceptable for your kids to be running around. I'm also on the board of Unicorn Movie Club, which is a fairly new nonprofit that really is working to bring movie-going opportunities to underserved communities, and they have really fun free screenings often. They accept donations, but they'll do it for free, and it's a comfortable environment where kids can run around. So definitely check them out. And I've seen theaters with like play areas in them.
Ooh.
You can't use them during the film, but before and after or during that intermission I mentioned. So that's kind of a new thing that I think we need to embrace a little bit more, because I do love going to the movies, but it's hard to go now because of having a child and fear of the stairs and stuff.
Yeah, and just the attention span, and yeah, it's hard
That
to
too,
get them
yeah.
to sit to eat a meal for 10 minutes. Like,
Totally. So
well, I don't know how you're doing it all, but you're doing it all.
Every like 5 minutes, you're like, I'm also on this board, and then I'm also doing this. I'm like,
oh
oh
my God.
God, like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I know. I look back. I'm very grateful, but I look back like, oh, I'm one of those people that feel like they're doing all these things, and how do they do it? And I don't know. You just figure it out, and
Yeah.
you also realize most things aren't as important as you think they are. So things start to fall by the wayside, and that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as the priorities are being handled.
I love that.
Amazing.
That's actually really good advice, not to sweat the small stuff. But you're incredible. We're so glad that we got connected to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks to
you.
Emily,
This is
too.
so fun. Yeah, we're going to have to grab coffee and
Please.
a meal or something the next Moonshot initiative or whatever.
Yeah,
100%.
Actually connect. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Do you have anything that you want to tell the audience, or final words or whatever? And then also, if you like, where can people find you if they want to like connect social media wise?
Social media, ONNI_creative is our Instagram handle. I think across the board, TikTok, Facebook, we're ONNI, ONNI_creative. And then my personal, I'm lucky I have unique spelling, so I'm just Geonni at Geonni, Geonni. It's very lucky I get that.
That's wonderful.
And make it easy. And then, any interns interested in any positions, again, follow us on LinkedIn. Don't hesitate to reach out via email either at hello@onnicreative.xyz. And I don't know, I think I don't have it all figured out. I think just telling people, just put one foot in front of the other and you'll figure it out in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Network, one foot in front of the other. Don't give up.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And go get set.